Hi again, everyone. I'm Judy Keating. I'm a Senior Policy Analyst with Intergovernmental Affairs Health and a proud member of the Diversity and Social Inclusion Committee with the Department of Health and Wellness. So this afternoon session, we've got some great opportunities ahead to listen to some of our spoken word artists. They're the first ones up this afternoon. So if I may call to the stage Elle Jones, Rebecca Moore, and Des Adams.
Hi, I'm Des.
Hi, Des.
You stand by, but not by me. You're over there staring while they define and defile me. Strip me bare, helpless only because you stand idly by. Watch injustice unfold before you and complain only when it's after you. Do you swear that this time you can stand by me? I can stand by you, but will you include me in your definition of equality? Will you include me in your definition of a world that is free? Is love a bug that causes unrest, or do we know we are not resting, for we are lacking in it? Love herself. You see, she has trouble with this because his member wants her dress to impress New Year's through to December, whether it's weather appropriate or not. His world wants her hot, not warm like that ray of sunlight in her every smile. She'll go downtown to hide her freckles, lose 10 pounds, lay and tan in a bed for a while. Unfortunately, she's both fat and too thin, so she'll settle, believing she can't win, whether it's eating the burnt toast at breakfast, fake for grad presents, or some other life she gets lost in, which presents a problem. Love herself and be responsible to near impossible levels. Belittle her needs and aim to achieve this image of long, flowing hair, fair skin, curvy to paper thin, waxed and shaven bodies, making a commodity of herself. But see, it's not always her fault, though fault is something she'll take either way, be it assault or rape caught on tape, because hey, she dressed that way. She'll settle and somehow feel his guilt for him, as if the pickings are slim. She's taught to be true to herself and love the skin she's in when the nip-tuck world we're in says, fix it unless you came from the hips that luck built, time is ticking. And as if guilt weren't enough, she can't see that she's pretty already. Impressive lies in her ability to teach and nurture like mother, be a big sister to little brothers, give life and multitask like no other, brushing off pain saying, oh shoot, that's gonna leave a stain. You're pretty already by nature's design, and it's time we all learn to appreciate herself, his self, and ourselves, because let's face it, heaven between life and death is love, and you can look and hear with eyes and ears, but everything perceived and received is here and here, so don't fear the reaper. This goes deeper than start and finish. You are all a beautiful story to witness, so love yourself. Thank you. I'm being told to do one more. Okay, thank you. Well, I thought that would have wrapped it up nicely, but sorry, this isn't as uplifting, but going through my trials and paces, ignorance became a place of familiar faces. They sell Mickey's, cans, bottles, and cases. I'm on a first-name basis with ignorant bliss. This has to stop. Though I consumed fermented plant material, I knew I had to be demented to stop writing on recycled paper and instead wanted my material to shine. So I decided to blend my talents with a pencil and some wine. Figured I'd blame it on a quest for inspiration and tell no one. Oops. Now I'm left with some complication. I've got an itch. Not a bite or a rash, but on the inside, right under my skin. I dig, but I can't get to it. I can't win. But managed to purchase enough tin cans to fax myself into oblivion. Been too lax in my writing, but inspiration is thriving. Wouldn't it be nice to be disloyal or to give my girlfriend a hard smack? Then I'll get to sleep next to the toilet. Pepto-Made might turn black. Cool, I think I'm still drunk. Should I go to work with mouth and hangover funk? No. But I will, just to cover the itch I can seldom afford. I'd have to be rich in order to be satisfied with nothing to show but permanent illness. It's sad to witness people fighting a sickness for fear of losing a friend while their friend is fighting the fight to heal. When the affliction is addiction, it's a battle of wits and sifting contradictions since you're avoiding wits in the first place. You'd rather be passed out, drunk and dense, pissing yourself, blacking out and wondering where the party went. Do I make any sense? This has to stop. I've got an itch, not a scab or an allergy. It's something kind of foreign to be needing something that's no good to me. I need to stop, for I know not when to stop. From the top, what did you drink? A tall Budweiser, Heineken, Fax 10, Holston, 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila, floored them. When I fell asleep with eyes wide open. That's it. Wide-eyed and brain dead. You guys tried wide-eye? It's awesome. This has to stop. And will it? Thank you.
Thank you, Des. I'm like the elder in this situation for once, so I probably should have done the intros, but I wasn't ready. So that was Des Adams, and I don't know, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
And really challenging to people, and I think spoke about a lot. I think the second poem was very brave of you, so I'm very moved that you put that out there. And in a bit, you're going to hear from Rebecca, who I know is going to also make us think. Des made me change my mind about what poem I was going to do because she was being open. So this poem is about those struggles we have with other women and why we can't work through them. Now, I don't know why black women so often fight with each other. Maybe it begins with mothers and daughters, or another black woman is like seeing our reflection in water, but the negative image of you is what I can't accept in myself, so I call you a witch. What I really mean is you hold up a mirror to me and the picture gets switched. So because you are me, that's what I can't forgive, because you show my own weakness. So now you and I aren't speaking. There's a little black girl inside of each of us aching, but until we love her, our own friendships keep breaking. And she's been told that she's worthless since the day that she's born. So now we're worn out with hating. And so my struggle with you starts in my relationship with her. She's waiting for affection, but we can't heal her pain, so we show each other rejection. And there's so much damage being done to us on a daily basis when the media conspires to show only our ugliest faces. So we internalize hatred when case after case is Real Housewives of Atlanta or Basketball Wives. There's a market for showing our sisters in strife, but with that in our life saying black equals wrong, is it any surprise we just can't get along? And we're also supposed to be so strong, so sisters can lean. But feelings pushed down don't go away, they just turn mean. And anger's so easy, it's near to the surface, so I'm starting drama with you because I can't reach down where my hurt is. It's addicting watching black women conflicting, and when we're involved, there's a rush of adrenaline, and when we're on the sidelines, it just feels the timing, and gossiping gives us some kind of distraction. Any kind of action is better than stressing about how to pay the bills, and when we get too proud, our spirit gets killed, so drama between black women so often attracts a crowd. It's too hard to be vulnerable when they tell us we're loud and crying just isn't allowed, so there's so much we can't deal with. So the weave goes flying. We believe that this ignorance is standing our ground. There's no time to uplift when we're being dragged down. And so many feelings we just can't name, so we're numb. And I can't love my sister because we're competing for crumbs, and she's in my way, so I call her a witch. They hold up a mirror to us, but the image gets switched, so I don't blame them for my empty plate. It's my sister who fits, so it's her that I hate. We should be linked with each other, but we can't build a bridge. And over the years, there's so many insults we've swallowed. When we're empty inside, we don't even ask why we're hollow. So I'm no longer following her, and she's gone from my friends list. And I'm ashamed to say there's black women I pass by without even acknowledging, and black women who hurt me so bad without ever apologizing. But as many women betrayed me, I turned around and betrayed. It's like comrades under torture surrendering names. There's too much reward in selling out in this game. It's too hard to support when I gotta get mine, so that's why we fought. I've seen older black women turn on the young. I don't know why we can't give a hand up to the next rung. They say it's a jungle out there, so we turn into predators. So many times I've opened my mouth and wished I had an editor. I've said things to those around me that really stung. Because cornered black women fight with our tongues, but there was a time when each one was like air to my lungs, and so I miss the days when I had all of your numbers. When we hung up the phone, we'd say, "Sister, I love you, now I call you a witch." I held up a mirror to you, but the image got switched. The conflicts we have shouldn't even exist. I spent so much time criticizing your choices. But now I'm realizing I'm channeling voices of every hurtful truth about myself I've avoided. And all of the rumors they spread about me. When I turned it on you, it was said about me. And jealousy between women drives so much that is petty. I don't want my relationships with women just made up of memories. It's taken up all our energies with these negativities. I don't know when my sisters all turn into enemies, but I want better for us. I kept saying that when you broke faith with me once, I just couldn't trust, but we all took back men who played us much worse. When they held a mirror to me, it was you I saw first, and it's my sisters who made me. Everything that I am, something each woman gave me, so how could I ever be separated from my sisters? And I can't say if we can ever fully let go of this bitterness, but black women together is our strongest resistance, and so we need to listen to what's underneath angry words. When I listened to my sisters, my own voice got heard. So I'll try to give to my sisters the same forgiveness I deserve. Thank you. I'm going to do one more, if that's okay. I actually wrote this for Sisters in Spirit. And I know Rebecca's going to talk about Idle No More, so hopefully it's a good lead-in. This is for the women they call drug addicts. The women they call prostitutes, the strippers, the tricks. The ones the cops say was just looking for a fix, the ones whose murder is seen as a fix because these are the women society thinks are a sickness. The ones who go missing and no one listens to the witness or their mothers or sisters because they said they smelled liquor on their breath. These are the ones who were fed to the pigs or dropped outside of city precincts to freeze to death. The women with convictions on their records, second-class citizens in a first-world settler state where the government keeps reservations in third-world conditions, one of 4 countries refusing to sign the UN petitions admitting the genocide of these people because of their race, where over 500 First Nations women can disappear without a trace, last seen leaving the police station. The women who are terrorized with no charges faced, the ones whose deaths are ruled a suicide or overdose, these are the women they label Jane Doe. These are the women they call the lowest on the totem pole when the totem was stolen from their culture in the first place. These are the ones whose pictures never blaze from the front pages, the women with scars on their faces from a pimp's fist whose blood is wiped away as quick as lipstick traces, but even lipstick is made with 24-hour protection to stick longer than the names of Aboriginal victims last in the news cycle. The ones they titled squaws and called Red Indians as though they were lipstick shades, but there is no 24-hour protection for women forced outside the law, so these are the women who carry razors for protection between their lips. The woman victimized by Child Protective Services, removed from reserves by those who preach church services, the nerve of this perverted justice system that prosecutes elders for hunting out of season while Robert Picton hunted the streets unobserved. And there was no investigation, just closed cases, believing they got what they deserved. And then there are the girls who disappear on highways, last seen hitchhiking. The ones who vanish in broad daylight, last seen in the headlights, but there will be no headlines. She's assumed to be somewhere in the red light district, so there will be no flashing cop light or helicopter searchlights combing the ground, because all young girls who disappear from reserves are labeled runaways. And so there are no Amber Alerts posted for them to be found. But when children deserted the residential schools, well, then the government had the resources to track them down. These are the girls not labeled as persons, the ones assumed to be not virgins, the ones who get filed as unsolved murders. These are women who are already written off, who are found with their body parts bitten off, or those who make their living getting men off, who are victims of the same court system that lets those men off. These are the women who are our sisters, whose families miss them, women with children who kiss them. They are more than statistics. They are more than unlisted. These are women of powerful spirit. Thank you.
My name is Rebecca Moore. I am 22 years old. I am of registered Pictou First Nations, but I was raised in the city, born and raised in Halifax. So where should I start? I'm not going to do poetry like they have. I'm just going to speak on what I know. Okay. I am a biracial woman. I am half Mi'kmaq, half white. And I come from, my family is a third generation urban Aboriginal, which is very rare around here, which means that I'm urban Aboriginal. My mother was born and raised urban Aboriginal, and my grandparents lived in the city. My grandparents lived in the city when there was about less than 100 Mi'kmaqs on the census living in Halifax. So we're slightly, not really, but just slightly disconnected from our Aboriginal communities. I had to go searching for my roots once my grandmother died. My grandmother's name was Stella Paul. She was a residential school survivor. She went to Shubenacadie Residential School. And I want to speak a little bit about her because she was my inspiration and motivation. She's why I am, in a sense, who I am today. My grandmother, I know, had a really hard life going to residential school, and then she was also subject to abuse by, unfortunately, my grandfather until he quit drinking. But so she was abused most of her life, and the reason why I thought she was so strong and I idolized her was because she always kept such a strong faith. She was always very spiritual. She was Roman Catholic because of the residential school, but she always prayed, and she just always believed, and she showed me that you can go through so much turmoil and still be a great person. She never smoked, she never drank, which a lot of residential school survivors did turn to substance abuse, but not her. She was extremely strong in that way. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Aboriginal women, in a sense, what it's like to be one and what we go through. Statistically, Aboriginal people only make up 2% of the Canadian population, but our men make up 17% of the prison populations. I'm not quite sure what the female statistic is. And growing up Aboriginal with, we kind of get, in a sense, the shitty end of the stick, it seems like. You know, we have the highest rates. We have high rates of diabetes. We have high rates of AIDS. We have high rates of substance abuse, domestic abuse, incarceration. You know, just seems like everything bad. We have high rates in that. And so this is the type of communities that our women grow up in. And these are the type of issues that we grow up dealing with on a daily basis, because these are our men, our women, our children, our cousins, our sisters, our brothers, our mothers, our fathers, that we see going through these things. We have the highest rates of suicide. And so these are the issues that Aboriginal women grow up dealing with, not only to deal with the oppression and our dark history and trying to find your own identity and trying to find your traditions again. Then we have to deal with all these things. Growing up, what I've observed is that like Aboriginal women are some of the strongest women that I know. And I think it's because we are resilient, because we have grown up dealing with all of these very real issues all the time. And, you know, we all get together and we all speak about it, and we all speak about these very sort of heavy issues, but that's because we have to. That's just reality for us. And not all of us are, you know, statistics. There are very many of us who are young and educated and healthy and try to stay strong for our families and our communities. Traditionally, women in First Nations culture, women traditionally are stronger than men. Women are, in a sense, just more sacred and more respected than men, and that's accepted in our culture. And that is because women have the power to give life and to give back to the Creator. And men don't have that. So that is why women are sacred. And I think that what I see now is putting women first isn't always the way in our society. I feel like women were belittled often. Like as Desiree's poem sort of pointed out, like if we dress a certain way, maybe you're treated a certain way. I know for myself, I watch how I dress because I don't like I feel uncomfortable getting the wrong attention, so I don't like to dress up too much, too often at all. And I think that's a shame because I know in today's society you can go out in pajamas and still get harassed, still get hollered. So imagine what it's like if you go out actually dressed nice or in a skirt that maybe goes above your knees. It's ridiculous. I think my message here, what I want to share with you guys is just, I would say the strength of women as a whole, but also from where I come from, I represent Aboriginal women. And right now, the reason why I say that I think Aboriginal women are some of the strongest in the world is because even though we do go through all of these things, almost all of the Aboriginal women that I know, they're very beautiful inside and out. They're very creative. They're always doing stuff. They're always, cooking, cleaning, taking care of their babies, making jewelry, making regalias, like using their creativity, always out in the community, always doing positive things. They're always moving, always inspiring. And even though we do come up against a lot of roadblocks, and we're very emotional, we feel things, we're very spiritual, we pray, we keep our beliefs, we honor our ancestors and our elders. And right now there's a global movement going on, the Idle No More movement. That was started by Aboriginal women, and that is an example of our strength. That was started by 4 Aboriginal women in Saskatchewan, and now it is a worldwide Indigenous movement, which is fighting for environmental rights and also Indigenous rights. And that movement spread across the world in about 2 weeks. And that comes from the spirit of our Aboriginal women. Our Aboriginal women seem to be the ones who are standing up first for our earth to keep it healthy so that we can all continue to live here. because our ancestors did a very good job of maintaining the planet and the earth so that we can live here today. And I know that education is important, and but it's technology that got us here. It's technology that is killing our planet. And it's our Indigenous woman that's kind of bringing that to a light, you know, because you can still be educated, in a sense, be ignorant. You can still be educated and act and be unintelligent. And I think that's sort of what the I Don't Know More movement's all about. We're taking it back to our traditions. We're making our presence known. We're physically going out, and we're doing more peaceful demonstrations. Like there's like something called the flash mob revolution, or the round dance revolution, which we go do flash mobs in public spaces and hand out flyers, information flyers, because not everybody knows exactly what I Don't Know More is about, or they hear all this stuff, or, oh, those natives are upset about something again, and that's what it seems to be like. But we have a legitimate concern, and that is what's happening to, right now, Canada, because Canada has, you know, the most clean water in the world, and right now I feel like that's all in danger right now. So right now there are 2 people fasting, well, not fasting, they're on a hunger strike in Millbrook. There's Shelley Young and Jean Sock, and they are against KMK and the Made in Nova Scotia process. But basically what they're hunger striking for is to keep our original treaties in place, because treaties are supposed to stand for all time. They're not supposed to be negotiated. They're supposed to just remain that way. And right now what they're talking about in the Made in Nova Scotia process and whatnot is creating modernized treaties or whatever. And we're not having that. We have ancestors that already died for those treaties. So, okay, yeah. And so those are our rights, and we're trying to keep them. I was going to I jumped in the cab and I forgot my drum. I was going to sing you guys the Strong Woman song because it seemed fitting for International Women's Day. But maybe I'll sing like 2 verses without my drum. Nobody here has a drum, do they? I didn't think so. Okay. Well, I guess I'll just sing it without the drum for now. This is the Strong Women's song, and it's one of my favorite songs. I'm a part of a all-women's drum group. It's called All Nations Drum Group, and we drum all over the place. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of us or seen us perform before. Anyways, I'll do just 2 verses without my drum. Okay. I'll just pretend I have a drum. Way hiya, way hiya, hey oh, way hiya, way hiya, hey oh, way hiya, way hiya, way hiya, way hiya, way hiya, way hiya. Way higher, 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 hey oh, way higher, way higher, hey oh. Way higher, 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 way it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your voices. That was just amazing. Everybody give it up again for these three.